Please turn off your cell phones and other electronic devices, and put on your Real D glasses.
World War I. What a devastating 4 years. The war to end all wars left Europe shattered and unable to defend for itself. Almost 9 million died, and more than twice that wounded, both physically and mentally. Families were torn apart. A whole generation of men were wiped off the face of the planet. For years before World War I, tensions rose as superpowers fought for control and plotted revenge. Mania is a handy acronym that can be used to describe the massive build-up to the spark of the war. The M stands for militarism, which was the glorification of the military and readiness for war. The major European nations engaged in a colossal military build-up where they increased their military size to compete with other nations. The first A stands for alliances, which played a huge role in the large casualties caused by the war. If one country of the alliance declared war, then the rest of the alliance had to support that country's decision by declaring war as well, or supplying that country with materials. The two major alliances in World War I were the Central Powers, consisting mainly of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, and the Allied Powers, consisting mainly of England, France, Italy, the United States, and Russia. The N stands for nationalism, or one's devotion to their country. Two types of nationalism were present. There was a national pride of the well-established that compelled countries to fight against new ideas, and then there was a vision for separation that compelled ethnic groups to fight for their rights and independence. The I stands for imperialism, or the fight between countries to have the most power and land. And finally, the second A stands for attitudes towards war. Countries were used to war and believed it was an acceptable way to resolve their differences. This led to countries declaring war faster than they might have had otherwise. Mania explains the reasons why the countries got all fired up. There was one thing left before all chaos broke loose: a spark. The spark came in like a wrecking ball on June 28, 1914, when Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie Chotek von Chatkowa-Ugwagnin were assassinated by a Serbian terrorist group, the Black Hand. June 28th was a special day because it was the same day the old Serbian Empire was defeated and added into the Ottoman Empire. The Black Hand believed it was an insult that the Austrian royalty was visiting that day, so they tasked 7 men to kill the Archduke. Almost all their attempts failed. Some assassinators chickened out, while others had horrible aim with their explosives. It took 2 point-blank bullet shots to the head from the gun of Gavrilo Princip to finally finish the job. Needless to say, Franz and Sophie didn't make it. The Austrians were furious with this act and called upon their ally Germany to help them crush the Serbs. Russia, being the protector of the Serbs, had to deal with Germany's aggression. The countries did not fail to back up their fellow alliances, and soon many countries were involved, and the war turned total. Thank you for joining us today as we reflect on a few of the most important aspects of this tragic monstrosity and take you on a journey of a lifetime as we follow two brave brothers and their dreams of becoming soldiers.
I guess you can say it all started 14 years ago. My brother and I playing toy soldiers at my house, dreaming of the life we could have.
Wow, brothers, when I'm older, I'm gonna be the best soldier ever!
You know what? I definitely want to be the best soldier with you, man. What are soldiers?
The only problem in going to war was leaving our mother. She's been alone ever since father died. And leaving her by herself so long, when we go to war, would just be out of the question. So for a long period, being soldiers was just a dream that we knew could never come true.
Mother really brought us back.
Mother will be with us forever!
Yes, she will. Yes, she will. She will. I'm gonna miss her, especially when we go to war.
If we ever go to war, I don't ever want to lose you, brother. We can be soldier friends for life.
I will never die on you. I will be with you forever and ever and ever.
But as the rapid change of events occurred, our mother thought it was right to go into battle to support our home country, Britain, in the monstrous total war that was going on. But before we could support Britain on the battlefield, we had to attend the worst part of my journey, boot camp.
You guys think you have what it takes to be out there?
Yes, we do.
Yes, sir!
We do.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'll do what my brother says.
10 more jumps, go!
Down! For mother! For mother!
My grandma did you put your friend that? Down! 20 jumping jacks, go! 20 jumping jacks! Go! Brother!
Okay. I'm sorry.
Dude, we have to be the best soldiers we can. For
For
mother.
mother.
In her name, we stand
We
strong.
do.
Get up! 20! Get up! Go! I get your feet. Stop yapping! Go! One!
Let's switch up.
Look out!
Come on, man.
Go!
I got you, man. Come on, man. Number two.
5 more! All five! Go! One! 2! 3! My goodness! Come on! My 5-year-old child can do so faster than that! Mother! Stop crying! Attention! 20 more push-ups! Go!
At boot camp, we also learned the concept of trench warfare, where soldiers stayed in trenches across from their enemy, and if someone was to cross the trench into no man's land, or the area between trenches, they would get mowed down by the enemy machine gunners. The year is now 1916. All of the hard work at boot camp has led us to Somme, France, to support our homeland, Britain, in this desperate struggle for power. Gunshots were whizzing by us as countless Germans lined the trenches ahead. We made a break for the nearest trench with the rest of our group and camped out there for a while, avoiding all fire. Soon, it was time to fight. I fired, but the Germans fired back at me. Everyone started to charge through no man's land. I tried to warn them, but it was too late. Unfortunately, my brother was one of them.
No! Stay! No! Take my phone off. I love you. Get me! No!
After the battle ended, all I could see were dead bodies. Luckily, medics salvaged my brother from the battlefield before he passed. I ran to the hospital to see him. I came in as his arm was being amputated. The doctor explained to me that even with the amputation, my brother had little time to live. On his deathbed, my brother made me promise to keep my mother safe and quit the army. But I told him it was my duty to be a soldier for Britain. He then gave me his headband as he passed. Dear Mother, a year has passed since brother's death, and the war is almost over. The Allies are on the verge of
victory. I am headed to River Sambre, France, to avenge brother's death and provide Britain with a victory. I apologize for not coming home in a while, but this is what I owe my country. I promise it'll be as it once was when I return. We will be together shortly. I hope you are doing well, and I will see you soon.
The air was thick, the fog was high. I could almost smell the victory. But little did I know, the victory always comes with sacrifice. November of 1918. Finally, the war has ended. The past 4 years have brought out the worst of the countries in Europe. The continent is left in ruins through all the destruction brought about from new technologies in the military field. Russia has already left the conflict to deal with their own civil war. No war before has brought about so much death. With the end of the war, the involved countries needed to settle some pressing issues to ensure it does not happen again. January of 1919, representatives of 27 nations arrive in Paris. A treaty must be put into play. They discussed the provisions of the Treaty of Versailles. The Big Four made the main decisions, which was France, Great Britain, Italy, and the United States of America. Germany and Russia were denied a voice at the conference. The Big Four settled on 6 main provisions to the treaty. Germany was their main target. Germany now had to limit their army to 100,000 soldiers.
We all hate Germany.
They also lost 10% of its land to the Allies, and had to pay for the Allies' spending during the war. Probably the most humiliating was that they were forced to sign the War Guilt Clause, which held them responsible for the entire war. The treaty also established the League of Nations, and recognized 7 new countries throughout Europe. The Treaty of Versailles completely diminished Germany's ability to do anything to rebuild, and caused many other issues that were not foreseen. As Winston Churchill once said, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few."
Centipede. Centipede. Centipede.